What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 58 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Thorgrim Grudgebearer Old World campaign. So as we saw last time, we had our obligatory beach episode as Stochel Gundrickson arrived at Asaf's Key and took on High Queen Khalida and 4 of her armies all at once. And though it took a lot of effort on my part due to crashing and instability, we were able to get the battle underway. Mr. Gundrickson did not manage to get a particularly difficult battle against Imric, but it looks like Khalida delivered where Dragon Boy could not. Lovely. And we're in a new turn, so we've got a lot of other things to do here. And what happened here? Oh, right, they attacked us. We have fairly little in the way of defenders here in the Cliffs of Dawn. I imagine that this should be auto-resolvable because these guys probably ran after being defeated. And yeah, we could just kill off the rest. Yeah, there's some good stuff in here, but compared to what attempted to strike at us, this is not good enough. So we'll take it all, and I probably should have quick saved. No, well, wait, can we still quick save here? No. All right. Don't screw me on this game. I guess it's just the start of the episode, but still. Dwarf Keep, yes. Collect income. Yeah, I guess. High King's Tribute, delete this. We'll build iron, we'll build deeps, and we'll keep on going. Technically speaking, we don't actually have to kill this faction. We have to kill Khalida's faction, but it is still a faction that we'll probably want to destroy nonetheless. Anyway, you're going to go out here and reclaim our Barak. Probably could have leveled some of these guys up, but there doesn't appear to be much in the way of defenders and brittle peaks, and hopefully can keep going this way, as, well, Khalida does occupy a lot of territory, admittedly. You, Reclaimer Granite Hand, I think can't move. We saw that there were 3 armies out here at the Monument of Whatever, and we need somebody to scout this place out. I guess Dwinbar Ranulfson can do so. He can find those other armies, and ooh, hopefully they're not immediately in range of him. After I auto-resolved and heavily got him damaged. But I guess we'll see. Anyway, Reclaimer Grimson, you're going to land here, find a territory, and then occupy it. Should be some undefended territories out of here, like the Idol of Asaf. And, okay, you can't go into any kind of thing. Do we want to level you? We'll probably level you before a fight, eh? And you know what? I don't trust it. Who knows? There could be... I mean, it's Tomb Kings, and with the AI giving them cheat techs, and they probably have all the techs that they want, meaning not so great. You want Grimnir's Heirs, you want Fire and Fury. Like so. And you have Honored by Grimnir, you have to get Dowie Firepower, and I guess you can get Blessed by Grugni, assuming that we're keeping these miners and not turning them into artillery or anything like that. It's a Reclaimer army, so again, it doesn't really matter over much, just the principle of the thing. Anyway, we'll do this, and you can't get Oh, you can get Obstinacy. Good, and then might as well get Rune of Grimnir. Probably could have done a few more runes on you, but it's all good. Fine, oh wow, I never leveled you. Let's get you Keeper of the Gate because, actually, that's a good question. Guardian is a useful trait, and the 50% reduction on hammers is good. We do have 4 of them. However, Ironbeard gives us a lot of ammunition for all of these guys, and maybe would be the better pick here. So let's go Inherited Arms, Unfaltering, Revered Thane, training for them to level up a little bit faster. Rune of Grimnir because it's good. Esteemed Combatant in case we get attacked. We are the elite, well, for when we are the elite. And then Hero to get the additional levels. We'll also go through Hard to Hit and Deadly Blade through to Foe Seeker and Blade Shield, Scarred Vet, and into Indomitable. And we have 2 points remaining, which I guess we're also going to put into Deadly Blade because your melee attack is, well, as a Thane, is not all that crazy. Master Engineer in here. Let's at least give you the... I forgot what it's called. Prospector Spyglass. And we could give him other items, but I'm too lazy right now. Hopefully he'll never need them, being a Reclaimer and all that, so we'll just assume. You know what you do when you assume, don't you? Anyway, we'll go Requisition. Frankly, Sapper isn't actually particularly useful in this particular army. Let's go 1 point in it, get We Are the Elite, and then... we shall see. Alright, good enough. Maybe I should have just increased mobility. Anyway, you're good now. I believe there should be another couple of armies that need to move around down here in the south. So, Ulfar Norgrimling, you can you go out to the sea? Sort of. I mean, you can. You might as well, I guess. It would have been better to go through the Scalded Swamp, but it looks like we can't land anywhere here, which is a bit of a shame. So it wouldn't save us any time, I think. So just do this then. And just head out into the water. And speaking of the water... Oh, yeah. Free a mysterious island. Go for mushrooms too, I guess. Alright, pigeon plucker pendant that we don't care about. Oh, I guess that's another way to find garbage items. Anyway, Joseph of Zorn. I guess you're going to want to hunt down Urmata's Death Dealer so he doesn't go anywhere. You're still damaged, unfortunately, but it is what it is. I'll resolve this. It's still garbage, and then we'll heal up. And we'll do the same thing to this guy out here. Starchaz Skolsons, and frankly, this is all these guys had. Looks like they never got around to building any of their elite troops. So, well, it sucks to be them, I guess, or sucks to have been them, seeing as how they're all dead. Alright, enemy killed in battle, enemy killed in battle, enemy killed in battle. Seeing a lot of those lately. And looks like you can't... You can land and then take damage via the attrition, eh? Due to the chaos corruption. It probably... Oh, but this is a decent garrison. We could also go around it and then maybe grab the garbage garrison here at Jarzuf first, and then jump over here. That's probably the better way to do it, because we'll take damage while auto-resolving. So we'll do that. Alright. And yeah, the chaos corruption is super high, unfortunately. I guess what we could do is counteract this slightly. If we have dwarfen tattooists, which we... Okay, you don't have any dwarfen tattooists. Okay, I'm going to do this real quick because it'll save us a turn of healing. If I can find... Okay, yeah, dwarfen tattooist for you. And... Okay, you know what? Everybody here is going to need them, so we'll use this menu for once. I still don't like the menu, but I'll use it. Okay, dwarfen tattooist for you. Dwarfen tattooist for you. Dwarfen Tattooist for you. And Dwarfen Tattooist for you. And Joseph of Zorn, I think you have no room for a Dwarfen Tattooist, but you can lose the Dwarf Bride and trade for a Dwarfen Tattooist. Do we have any free choir masters? I think we're out. Nope, no free choir masters. Alright, well, let's see how that corruption is looking now. Minus 18. Probably still not enough, but a little better than it was, previously. Anyway, that was Joseph of Zorn. That was these guys. You, Jomex, still need to move down here and try to get to sea. This is all cliffside. I guess you're gonna have to move somewhere here so that you can actually leave. Alright, fine, fair enough. Go past the Lamian ruins. And it looks like we're good. Alrighty, Stachel Gundrickson. I guess you can head directly for Lamia itself. I would like to see what these guys... Oh, King Cat. Probably could have drawn you out. What do we have here in terms of defenses? Pyrrhic victory. Half our army will die. Alright, fine, we can fight this, although I don't imagine they have much of a chance compared to what Khalida brought to bear, but you never know. Reclaimer Granite Hand. I guess we'll risk ya. Oh, we won't risk ya because... looks like... Alright, fine. I would like you to go here. I'm just wary of there being armies over on that side, which was the case before, so let's not risk it. Alrighty, then I suppose Reclaimer Thrund Bugman will try to chase down Mr. Manny. He lost a battle last turn, so he should now die, which should allow Mr. Groth Barak to continue moving southward. Still gotta wipe these guys out for the legendary grudge to be crossed out. Like so, heal up after all that, free Razor Standard. And there we go, another Moonslaker, and why are we suffering attrition here? Oh, it's desert attrition. Go here. We're immune to vampiric attrition, so that doesn't matter, just gotta avoid the desert attrition. Lovely, and then you... I guess can chase down Dieter Bachmann, which will allow Reclaimer to grab the Valley of Locusts. No S, but all good. And just reduce the numbers available to these guys, or number of armies available to these guys, quick as we can, and then head down to the Winged Obelisk next turn. Actually, would have been nice if we had a Follower Lord here, but all good as well. Next up, we'll have Mr. Follower grab the Canal of Abundance. Since we're not going to wait for Khemri to grab these territories, we'll have the... almost pressed the auto-resolve. We will wait for... You can move, and then camp. We'll trade these territories to these guys. And again, I strongly feel like they deserve to be rewarded for the sort of massive amount of territory they were able to claim without us helping out. I mean, other factions might have also gotten territory by virtue of the fact that we have been killing all of their enemies, which these guys definitely did not have. So, good for them. They did very well. They pressed Manfred hard, and anybody and everybody should get rewarded for that sort of thing. Anyway, what do we got down here? So, Coast Guard bait, you can stay still, while Scav hold fast. You can land at Castillo de Estragon, and... Really? I'm gonna give them a chance to sally out. Obviously, they have I mean, nobody has a chance against Scav Holdfast, but I'm not in any hurry to wipe these guys out. Brock Iron Pick, you're gonna head to Nuja and grab that. Looks like the 1,000 Maws are very much on their way out. You can auto-resolve this because we've already fought the exact same garrison with the exact same army, and elites or no, we know that we can win. Just build these up. I'm not going to bother rebuilding them. We're going to be trading them anyway. Kazran Grimbrow. You should have a 3-stack against you. I like that. I like that a lot. All right, let's move everybody else around, then we'll have you do your 3-stack. Okay, so first of all, I would like you, Ferry Hergar Ironwool, to hit Pina Wood, while Bernoth Barak moves to reinforce. We have Morga Strenger to kill off this guy here. Annie sinks well. Go figure. She sinks well. Like so. And then you can move to this place where their capital is. Oh. Malok Slayer. Ooh, if you could just... alright, fine. Oh, don't tell me you can't land. Sometimes it does that. Oh, don't tell me that we can't physically wipe them out because this guy has an area denial here? Huh. Well, we'll wait until next turn, but it would be really unfortunate if it's literally impossible to land. It looks like the zone of control of this guy's preventing us from landing here, and... yeah, it's just impossible. Huh. Alright, well, we'll see what happens next turn. Eventually, they'll have to do something, right? We might have to bait them out of it. Story Azrael, you can hit Sahagan afterwards. Maybe go for San Luis first, because, I don't know, it's a higher settlement, higher level settlement. Not worth fighting, because we've already fought 2 and 3 armies of this same garrison type. And it's low casualties, decisive victory. Sure, there are elites, but a single garrison without another army should pose no threat. In fact, last episode, this very army defeated all those guys. You could build up whatever, doesn't really matter. I'm going to be trading all that away anyway. Alright, you, Bernoth, I'm going to head to Pina Wood. And we'll reinforce, and we'll destroy. Alright, this army hates cannons. Alright, just besiege it for a moment. We might send another army to reinforce. I don't want to waste time on an enemy that we know can't defeat us. I guess what we could do is send Warvor there to reinforce, just to save on time. Go for it, why not? Would have preferred to move him out to Torcarindus, which is one of our campaign objectives, but... gots to do what you gots to do. Huh, maybe I should have just sent Warvor in without the rest of these guys. No, nobody should die, including the frickin' cannons. I don't know why the auto-resolve hates cannons and thunderers. It's really strange. Especially considering the cannons are the longest range artillery piece that we have. They should be the very last thing that gets damaged, and they're not. I don't know, man. I just don't know. Alright, Kazran, let's level up your guys and let's move on in. We got 3 Skaven stacks to fight, and I'm excited for what they may bring to bear. What do you got? You have reinforced rotors. We could buff up the single cannon. Before I didn't know whether we were going to keep the single cannon. And I still don't really know, but you know what? For now, why not? Just do the cannon mastery. Honestly, if we trade one of the Longbeards for another cannon, then that would just sort of decide the matter, and we wouldn't have to worry about it. Although maybe I'm the only one who worries about it anyway. Anyway, Ruinous speed for you. Let's move on in, Kazran. Let's see what we got here. Grisnecked Mancarver, Pyrrhic Victory, medium casualties. Alright, let's see what we got. We got flamethrowers, storm vermin, gotta watch out for those. We have no easy way of killing them. Mutant Rat Ogre, very elite garrison, couple of hell pits, doom wheel, etc., etc. Lots and lots of storm vermin and plague monks, including sensor bearers. Yeah. Though I was expecting 3 stacks rather than 2, but nonetheless, it should be pretty entertaining of a fight. So fight we shall. Ooh, alright, here we go. A little over 2 rat stacks arrayed against us, but more importantly, the first one is in front of us, and the second stack with the elite units, i.e. the Doomwheel, the Hellpit Abominations, etc., is behind us, which ain't that great. No taking advantage of the cannons, it looks like, and their massive range in this particular fight, and it looks like the strategy, in my opinion here, the best strategy will be to blitz the first army down. We're going to rush them. So, we Vanguard deployed our Bugman's Rangers and our Rangers with great weapons to do as much damage as possible, and are sending our Thunder Barges forth with the rest of our melee troops moving in to reinforce. The idea is to try to kill off all the enemy range units, or all the enemy units, or at least force them to rout before they manage to do anything. 2 harpoons come down from our Thunder Barges, taking the enemy Warlord down to 300 HP, and just as he charges on in, and he shatters immediately, only to later be sniped, presumably, by the cannons, which are going to target him. The Thunder Barges will keep going on and floating over the enemy. There we go, the enemy Lord is down, knocked off that Brood Horror, who will fall and then explode into a disgusting pile of goo. Alrighty, the enemy melee units are charging us, and we've gotten into position ourselves fairly well. Karaz Grimhammer himself has moved out towards the enemy Mutant Rat Ogre to stop it from charging the rest of our lines, and dishing out fairly heavily damage to it as it gets brought down to a mere 1000 HP, and before turning its back and fleeing Karaz Grimhammer's wrath. Otherwise, the enemy is still engaged with us, or flying, or axes being flown, chucked, lobbed, thrown over our Longbeards as they hold the enemy back. Zip our 42-pounders coming down on the enemy as we buff ourselves with that Master Rune of Oath and Steel. Does look like, oh, this is pretty interesting. The Hammerers here have lost about half of their HP in a duel one-on-one with the enemy Storm Vermin with Halberds. Do have to be careful with the Hammerers, but that's actually fairly impressive that they were able to do this, considering we have 70 melee defense on these guys. And yes, the Storm Vermin Halberdiers are armor-piercing, but this is more damage than I would have expected now. Again, the Storm Vermin are buffed up by a fair bit with 61 melee attack, but I'm impressed. Good job, the ratties. I would not expect a single Storm Vermin unit to be worth half of a unit of elite Hammerers. And just because they're elite rat infantry doesn't mean they're actually, you know, quality infantry compared to the other sort of factions and races of the world. Anyway, looks like the bounce of power is about 90% in our favor, but only for a few seconds, I'd wager. Our blitz attack did by and large work, as we've taken out the enemy infantry and a lot of the enemy missile infantry. And while a few of them are still going to be returning, as we see only about half of them have shattered, we can no longer deal with them and have to reposition. Turn right back around for the arrival of the elite enemy armies. And while we will give a little bit more chase to them with both the Thunder Barges and the Gyrocopters, the real battle really starts now. And as soon as the enemy gets closer, we're going to have to activate that Afterburner. Thunderburner? I think it's Thunderburner. Thunderburner on the Thunder Barges, and get them to close the distance as fast as they can here while taking damage to do so. But that's alright. Longbeards are moving on in, reforming. The flame units are going to move in as well. They've done decent work so far, but perhaps not compared to other armies. And they will get at least one volley off into the enemy Death Runners as they charge on in, taking about 30% of their HP. But it looks like with the enemy closing in, we're probably going to have to back these guys off, as the Death Runners will tear through the Iron Drakes rather quickly. There we go, we see a couple of them already dropping, and about 20% of their HP lost. And Death Runners, Plague Monks, Hellpit Abomination, and a pile of Rat Ogres is a heck of a combination. Our Afterburning, or Thunder-burning Thunder Barge has arrived to cover over the battlefield, and the other one is moving on in. You can see it crusting that hill line. That's got to be a scary sight, though perhaps not as scary a sight as a Hellpit Abomination or two. Or one. There we go. The first one will go down under fire, and the second one will hopefully follow suit eventually. And we no longer have all that much that can focus them down, as everybody's busy with their own thing. Ooh, it does look like some... first of all, our Thunder Barge gets trapped, though, luckily for us, right on top of the enemy blob, so it can continue dropping its bombs down below it and firing in multiple directions. Gonna have our range units try to toss whatever axes or corals into that Hell Pit Abomination, while we take damage from the Warp Grinder's Seismic Snare and their Warp Quake. Otherwise, the bounce power has shifted to about 70% in our favor, and while we have taken some damage on the front line, especially over on the left flank where the enemy concentrated its units and its monsters more, it looks like we are holding the enemy back. Did have to retreat our Iron Drakes, as they lost about 55% of their HP due to that massive charge of all the enemy elites and monsters. But otherwise, I think our Longbeards should be able to now corral and hold back the remaining Storm Vermin. Our Hammerers that were deployed on the right flank over on this battle, as I decided to combine the two units essentially into one, since the one that got half of its HP taken out by the Storm Vermin, I was no longer feeling safe enough to deploy it by itself. And though it did lose half its HP, it lost only 3 models, meaning the entire unit will be basically back to full HP should we win this. And I think that's a moot point now, as win it we do. Our cannons do unfortunately get one last charge in from the enemy Plague Monks, which do tear through the crew, and I don't know, the cannon might be dead, but it's not super critical in this army, admittedly, and at the same time, frankly, it probably should be replaced by a flame cannon so it can benefit from fire and fury, so since we have another flame unit in here rather than a single cannon. Mostly it was in here for a long range, but now that we have the Thunder Barges, it's not as critical. Anyway, when we do, and though we took some damage to several of the units, we were able to hold them off, and our tactic worked out. If a fairly bit close, but not so close that it was a close victory rather than a heroic. Alright, there we go. Pretty darn awesome fight, if I do say so myself. The fact that the reinforcements came in to attack us from the back really worked out in their favor, as we had to quickly blitz the first army down and then reposition to the arrival of the second army before they could do too much damage. I love it. Cannons got hurt, which I find hilarious and ironic, because I kept complaining about how they're always taking damage, and here they are taking damage. Anyway, Scab Breach. Auto-resolve, and we bid farewell to Clan Skab. Occupy. Alrighty, and... well, I guess it isn't... it's a hill, but whatever, we'll keep it, Unlike all of these territories, once again, I like the idea. We don't need this here, we'll replace it with gold. We can go for... Scam Corruption will be gone shortly. So, going to High King's Tribute, we can keep the Rune Forge, but I think we can get rid of you as well. Good enough. We don't really need the mine here because we're not really looking to make all that much money. And, well, whatever, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Just keep it nice and fortified either way. Anyway, let's see who else needs to move around, at least down here. We are good, I think. Wait, actually, I lied. You. Finarkan Draskelson, you need to... I can go a little bit further like this. Go like this. There we go. Alrighty, and just gotta give up a little bit more take a little bit more territory, give up a little bit more territory, and we'll be good. Oh, I just want to see, was that the last Skaven faction in the world? ST, Slaanesh, Rogue Armies, that was the last Skaven, beautiful. Alright, no more of them to worry about. Not that we were worried. Lovely. Okay. That's a monumental milestone in and of itself. Now, Lokir Felhart has revived, but he has nothing, so we're just going to let him die. And again, the auto-resolve is going to kill the Thunderers, and honestly, I don't care. They're just being an annoyance now. And I really like the Thunderers, especially with the buffs that we have, but the auto-resolve keeps killing them to such an annoying degree. Can't be constantly dealing with it. Anyway, I'll level these things up. We're not going to bother keeping them, as we have no need of them. We want to take out Jessia, but we can still move up here. You're gonna move all the way out here, and let me guess, a bunch of your Thunderers are gonna die too. You can move to Fearguard, and I guess you can sort of go there as well. One of you should be sufficient to take it, while the other one moves further. I just figure if Jessia goes this way, then we'll have to try to hunt her down. In fact, what we could also do is move you, Reclaimer Held. Oh. Can you... you really can't go that far. Oh, it's because you're missing half of your movement range. Well, whatever. What's the best way to catch her? If she goes this way, well, I guess that's one of the reasons we kept follower here, but just in case. Which of these Reclaimers, let's say you. You're gonna go this way. And then you are going to go this way. She can't go down here. And we need to move north anyway. Alright, something like that. And you Reclaimer Stronghold, I assume that you can't catch this guy. You actually probably could, it's just that it'll force you to cross the river and not be able to capture a location. Does that matter in this particular situation? Maybe it doesn't, just kill him. Fewer armies running around, the better for us in this situation. Because then we don't have to run around after them, etc. Alrighty, and then minimal damage. You are indeed going to be forced to cross the river. I swear the AI does that on purpose on oh! But it didn't really work out so well for it because we can still reach Serpent Jetty. Isn't it lovely? Auto resolve. Beautiful. Alright, Serpent Jetty is ours. You can uncollect the income as we have no need of it, and we are certainly not looking to keep it. Old as Hellhind, you can hit Foul Fortress, though Village has already been defeated and it's probably not worth our time. You're going to move into Reinforce, and we'll just wait until you move on up. And Old as Hellhind, you will besiege as soon as this guy gets close. Like so. Vengeance! Hey, that worked out. And oh, you don't have Siege Attacker. Wait. Or do you? Old as Hellhind. We're gonna have to do this. Just to save the turn, trade a Gyro Bomber for a Thunder Barge. There you go. I knew I should have given him a Thunder Barge. You know what? You can probably just keep the Thunder Barge just because it'll help you. And yeah, they got some okay stuff, but a single stack, no dice. No chance and no dice against us. We are going to go for the, let's say, Empower the Guilds. It's all going to be traded, so probably none of this is going to be built up, but who knows? Some of it might get there. Build just whatever. And we'll be giving it all up to Oshiotla. And with that, the Puppets of Misrule are destroyed in another Chaos faction bites the dust, and few enough remaining. Hegadbor Iron Pick, we're going to have you take the Great Ohm, while Joseph Bugman takes Bola Hat, and then we get ready to move north. And oh, there's another little army out there. I'll resolve this for obvious reasons, and occupied for even more obvious reasons. Like so, and then I guess Bugman, you can take out Glugmir Putris, and then move on north. While follower Skolson lands. Anyway, he might actually deliver that Runesmith after all. Shocker. Alright, and surprisingly, that didn't actually really hurt Bugman's army. He has a tendency to get heavily damaged. And oh, would you look at that, a full stack running around. Maybe Bugman will actually have a fight for him. Anyway, we'll give Bola Hat up to these guys next turn, or the turn after, as soon as we're just moved past this. We've arrived on the Albion Bolan by taking out Be'lakor and his 2 stacks, most likely. The Albion Bowl is already lost for our enemies. Lastly, we still have you guys to move. Gromby, I assume you can't no longer reach Tribe Slaughter, and you cannot reach Claw Reach. Inappropriately named Claw Reach, because it can't be reached. Thorak, you can still move though, so you're gonna get Dragon's Death, and you're gonna move southward. Now look at the, all the heroes running around, and those are Tamarkan's special heroes too. We've just defeated them too many times at this point, and especially considering Tamarkan's now broken, or Nurgle is now broken, we don't really need to do anything about it. Yeah, similar to this. I'm willing to bet that this won't let us auto-resolve it. I guess we could take the Twisted Pillars to start, though we don't have the Plague now, and it would be better to fight without the Plague. Alright, you know what? We'll give this a try. I can't guarantee that we can get a cinematic battle working out of it, but I'll give it a shot by moving in such a way or playing it in such a way that hopefully it'll mean that we can avoid the desyncs. That's the type of playstyle I haven't employed in a while because we haven't been getting too many desyncs until the instability introduced by the hotfix. So maybe I'm a little bit out of practice. Again, for those who don't remember, essentially you have to play by not giving anybody any direct orders to attack anything, only move on the terrain. Like tell your units to go to locations, not to specifically attack anything or use any abilities because those will be presumptively out of range. But if you're not giving any direct orders, your units are positioned still properly and still fighting. I know it sounds strange, but it does sort of work. Let's see if it sort of works here. Oh, wait. Actually, Zanbajan is walled. You know what? We could do that, but we can wait for them to sally out of Zanbajan and then fight them in the field. Who knows? They might even have Tamarkan revived by that point. We shall see. Anyway, who else needs to move? Grimly Coral, Seeker, and Elmador Red Axe. You're moving up north to essentially park yourselves out here, in case Cornate forces move on southward. And Gromby, since you've taken out Archie, you're going to go to Tribe Slaughter now, or just generally as far as you can. Alright, who's up next after Gromby? Coastguard doesn't need to move, Woodguard doesn't need to move, Malachi has moved, Woodguard doesn't need to move, Jarguard doesn't need to move, Belagar. You're not any kind of guard. Belagard. I'm an idiot. Auto-resolve and occupy. There you go, buddy. Let's see. We can also go for the empower the guilds here because we're not keeping it, but we can build defenses at least temporarily. Mr. Belagard. Let's see. Who else do we need? Woodguard, no. Jarguard, no. Mornguard, no. Ungrim moved. Woodguard, Reclaimer. Aragundradrak. No, actually, you're where you're supposed to be. Scab Holdfast is fine. Yes, he's besieging with the idea that we give these guys a chance. Morik Grimtideson. Ah, yes, you actually do still need to move. Try to move over to... I mean, I guess this way. There's nowhere else to be. You may not need to move much more, though. Followers Colson. Oh, I thought I landed you, but apparently I interrupted myself by moving a bunch of others around. Which, go figure. Jarguard doesn't need to move. Thingrim, you are supposed to sort of move with these guys. I guess you can move with Reclaimer Helldower. Thugni of Zorn moves with Ungrim. Jarguard is fine. Stochel Gundrickson. Why are... Oh, you're besieging in the hopes of the enemy sallying out. And while we could level you up, you're in pretty good shape, I think. Woodguard, Jarguard, you're both fine. Reclaimer... You're not a guard of any type, meaning you can actually still move. Alright, go here. Yes. And Elmador Deepbrow, you're supposed to join Thurgrom the Thronger. So Thronger, go here. And... Wait. Are you not? Huh? Am I crazy? I thought this guy was... Wait. I'm going crazy, guys. I got a Drengul so that he could join one of these guys, but I thought I deleted one of these guys in order to replace with the Drengul guy. Huh. Maybe I did that around the crashes? Weird. At least I intended to. And you're at 20 out of 20. Oh, because that's why I wanted to. But then it was this guy. Yeah, see, I removed the items from him. But he can't leave the army. Okay, you know what we can do then? Reset yourself, bud. I'll pop you into another force. I thought I was going crazy there for a sec. There we go. Alright, that fixes it. And you're fixed as to whether you can actually get a battle. I did say I had no promises about whether we can actually get him a fight or not. Might move him back around to Blooddrift or something. We shall see. Alright, anybody else? Or are we good to end the turn? Woodguard Ulik, you're a Woodguard, and thus you don't need to move. Follower is... Oh, you're fine where you are, at least for now. Skaggle Frowner, you actually have to stay on the field. You're not useful to us, at least... Not as an army, but you can act as a follower. He has to stay on the field because he's giving us that faction-wide Nurglite stuff. It probably works with... this is bugged. Building will be demolished upon the ending of the turn when own master engineer is present. He's been present for 2 turns, and nothing has been demolished. Go figure. Oh well, not a big deal. Anyway, I believe we're ready to end the turn and potentially fight, or at the very least, if we skipped anybody, I'm too lazy to go over it again. We could trade some territories, but I think we're okay there as well. Skip. No siege equipment being built. Well, I don't know where that is, and I already clicked past it, so it's too late now. Hello, we're not moved on a science skill point. Here we're not moved. Outpost upgrade, building upgrade, outpost available. End turn. Alright, Tamarkan's not back, but Tyro will indeed attack Malachi and Kaisen. Let's quick save and let's try making this a nice cinematic, whether it desyncs or not. If it desyncs too hard, I'll just play it manually like I do. But this is probably the last Nurglite fight since they're bugged. Anyway, let's give it a try.
The ship may have sunk and the airship exploded, but bad luck doesn't come.
Alright, here we go. Let's see if we can make this work. I just got to win the battle without giving any direct targeting orders, and thus should be able to make this cinematic without having any desyncs. That's the idea anyway, or at the very least, very minimal. Anyway, we're going to start off running and gunning, which you can do decently well without any direct targeting. Does look like some of the enemy Rot Knights will charge us, however, and guys, let's not mow down our own Slayer pirates with that Goblin Hewin. That's a little bit better. There we go. Though it looks like they wanted to really target that leading Rot Knight. Rot Knights are down to about 10 movement speed, so they're not closing the distance, at least not easily, and Malachi can still hold the ground with the rest of our units. No direct targeting, but area of effect abilities are obviously fair game, and as long as the range is close, it should be fine as well. Regular Chaos Knights get absolutely torn to shreds by the Goblin Heroes. Took a little bit longer in the Rot Knights, but it looks like they're out of the picture as well. Still, most of this is so far just distraction as a massive horde of enemies is moving in from the right side of the map. It seems like they decided to go around with a ton of units like Chosen and Pox Riders, Fimir, Bile Trolls, even more Chaos Knights, 3 of them in fact, and a bunch of Doggos, which means we're going to have a very dangerous sort of aspect to the battle over on the right flank. Up in the air, it looks like, unfortunately, some of the enemy Rotflies have closed the distance with our gyrocopters, and they're probably going to have to book it on out of there, or are trying to book it on out of there. Though, interestingly, the Rotflies seem to do a very good job of blocking them off. Well, hopefully they survive. In the meantime, we are still using our Thunder Barges to float overhead of the enemies that try to approach Malachi's position, and at the very least, the Doggos and other fast movers that are going directly against the Goblin Hewers are melting away with rapidity. Down goes the last chariot. Looks like the enemy, I don't know if that was an exalted hero or a lord or what, but something melted away. Over on the right flank, however, the big portion of the enemy units are moving on, and the Slayer Pirates will meet the Chaos Knights in melee combat as they have no choice, and since our Goblin Hewers were deployed over on the left flank, they are needed here now, but need to be repositioned first. And the Slayer Pirates are also going to have to deal with those Pox Riders, the Bile Trolls, all the other monsters, though it does look like they see off at least the regular Chaos Knights surprisingly quickly. I didn't expect them to tear them to shreds that easily. Anyway, 2 minutes have passed. It does take 2 minutes to get the Spirit of Grugny on the battlefield, and up on the battlefield it goes. And hopefully to help these guys out who are starting to take damage, and that will probably continue in that manner. On the bright side though, on Malachi's side of the map, pretty much every unit that has attempted to rush him and his Goblin Hewers in limited numbers of Slayer Pirates is victorious. And now we're just moving our Thunder Barges over to where the biggest portion of the battle is still ongoing. Fighting those Bile Trolls now. Gotta remember to ally... I'm trying to remember, so Norska had... Norska in SFO had Bile Trolls before they were added by the game, and they were a big single entity. I wonder if that remains the same or whether it's different now. Next time I play Norska. Well, next time I play Norska in SFO, because the next real time I play Norska is going to be in the DLC, which is not an SFO. But anyway, looking like a pretty fantastic and cinematic battle so far, and though we are giving no orders, the fight is still ongoing and a pretty great one, knocking the last of those buzzing drones out of the sky. Thunder barges, setting alight to the vast majority of the enemy units here, though we have had to retreat our now heavily damaged Slayer pirates, lest they be fully destroyed. Fortunately, with Malachi having defeated the forces that were attacking the left flank, he can now reposition all of his now full HP Slayer pirates and the Goblin Hewers, and of course, with the infinite ammunition on the 3 Thunder barges, they will continue to provide support, gun the last of the enemy units down, like those Chosen and Plague Bearers, and with that, the battle will be ours. Beautiful. And... well, I hope that glove is thick enough to actually shield your face, buddy. You don't have a buckler on there or anything. Anyway, with that, the battle is ours, and it looked like it went pretty darn well. Oh, there was a... yeah, that was just the one unit. One little unit of... Plague Bearers that needed to be melted away, and oh, well, would you look at that, there's still a Soul Grinder on the field. I didn't even notice it, which I very much should have, considering it basically expended all of its ammunition. And taking a few shots at the Spirit of Grugni, all 3 land. Very nice. I mean, to be fair, it's probably pretty hard to miss this thing. That's alright. Now the Spirit of Grugni and the other Thunder barges are moving on and cannon fire away, and of course the Gyrocopter is moving in to support as the Soul Grinder, the last remaining unit on the battlefield, will melt, and the battle will be ours. And heroic victory, Karaz-a-Karak. If this had desynced, then we would have gotten heroic victory for the other side, or some other victory or defeat or whatever for the other side. I noticed that happens when desyncs. Did it? Does that mean it just plain didn't desync, or is that just because I didn't give anybody any direct orders? I wonder. It might also be that the Nurgle, that there might be a specific Nurgle unit that affects the desync. But anyway, it didn't happen here. Looks like we're safe. Lovely. Alright, there we go. I really hope that worked and the cinematic worked, but, well, I guess, well, I don't know at this time, but you guys do, because you will have just seen whatever ended up happening. So, yeah, hopefully that was functional. Anyway, we did take a fair bit of damage on some of our Slayers, but it's just sort of the nature of playing in a way to avoid the desyncs, wherein you can't give direct orders because it means you can't actually target specific units, which means that the damage of your army is distributed among the enemies rather than focusing down key targets, and thus a higher likelihood of things like monsters reaching your line and dishing out the damage. That's alright though. I don't think we're so badly damaged that it should be a concern, and we'll attract replacements to counteract it, and then take Zinbai Jin. Alright, let's see what we got here. Yes, this looks like another proper fight for Stachel Gunriksson. That's a lot of enemies. Hopefully it doesn't mean a lot of crashing, because I really don't want to deal with that nonsense again. It is a considerable amount of the strength of the Tomb Kings between the 3 armies we've already destroyed, or 4 armies that we've already destroyed under Khalida, and well, I wonder how many more they have left. Still, Stachel Gunriksson was, I think, the last or second last of the proper themed armies that we built. He was built for dragon slaying, the only army that we have with multiple dragon slayers and super high damage dealing heroes for this particular purpose. I mean, look at those damn stats. But they work surprisingly well against the Tomb Kings. The giant slayers aren't super good at mincing the Tomb Guard. In fact, they take a shockingly large amount of damage fighting Tomb Guard one-on-one, but between all the artillery and the other stuff we have, it's still pretty okay. Anyway, let's do this fight as well and bring down King Cat.
None of you steal my doom, or I'll come find you in the afterlife. You hear me?
Alrighty, here we go. More Tomb Kings ready for slaying by Stachel Gunriksson here. He, once again, his army may have been built for dragon slaying, but he seems pretty happy with dealing with the Tomb Kings instead. And ooh, I like all the sort of a wide open desert. Well, mostly wide open. There's a big old King of Kings statue out there. I'm just taking a look at everything around because we've got a little bit of time until the enemy reinforcements make their way onto the battlefield. Though, in the meantime, we can work a little bit on gunning down the first of the enemy lords, which is waiting here to get for the enemy reinforcements on the field. Unfortunately for him, that's a bit of a waste of a Cambrian War Sphinx. Huh, I like how it topples partially into the ground. Actually, seems very appropriate in the sandy territories. Anyway, there we go with that. The reinforcements are here, and there are a lot of them, and especially a lot of monsters. Look at all those sphinxes and the bone giants. We got plenty more where that came from as well. There's another bone giant. There's an Ushabti with great bow. I think there's another Ushabti with great bow. We got 2 more bone giants on the way, more tomb scorpions. There's another, what, 7 Ushabti, another 2 tomb scorpions. Oh wow, this is, actually, army composition-wise, this is even way more constructs than Khalida had with her 4 armies. I wonder how this will go. On the bright side, though, we do have our left flank protected, and since the enemy is making their way onto the battlefield on one side of the map, we should be able to take advantage of that, as they probably will approach in a bigger blob than otherwise they might. On the somewhat less fortunate aspect, I probably should have advanced our army in such a way that all of our artillery could have fired upon them from where they are, but right now it's only the cannons that are capable of doing so, because the cannons can basically fire across the map. But on the other hand, maybe not firing at the enemy while they are just making their way onto the battlefield, also, that's okay. Feels a little mean to do it. Granted, the AI will absolutely do it to the player, but feels a little mean to do it that way, so maybe it's a good thing that we didn't. Anyway, first of the enemy vanguard are in range of our bolt throwers and organ guns by the looks of it, which will quickly knock down a couple of chariots. Hardly surprising, chariots are pretty darn fragile, and, well, they were always going to go down. At the same time, they're not really big threats, and we got bigger threats to worry about. So, Necropolis Knights. Bolt throwers probably going to be a lot better at targeting single entities than this, but that's the only thing they can reach right now, so they'll reach what they can reach, and bring down what they can bring down. Alrighty, and these guys, I don't think they're actually being slowed down. It's just impact. It's just stopping power that's staggering them and such. And there we go, first unit of Necropolis Knights is out as well, and man, this so far has not been a crazy amount of damage. On the bright side, though, the cannons have been working in the background. First cannon has taken down another Cambrian War Sphinx. Second cannon has just brought down a big old bone giant. They don't have the range that we do, and it's glorious to see those big constructs topple. Sadly, we don't have rune golems, but oh well. Alrighty, and it looks like the enemy is starting to draw at least a little bit closer to us. Still a fair way that they've got to walk. Fair bit of distance to cover, but they also have just so many reinforcements ready to come on, and so darn many Ushabti. Now that said, with the infantry being so slow, it's going to give us more time to snipe the critical targets and destroy all those constructs. Like I said before, this army built for dragons are not pretty darn good for dealing with Tomb Kings. Alright, and it's targeting the Bone Giants next, hopefully preventing them from firing upon our Iron Drakes or Troll Hammers, which are so critical to the defense, especially against the enemy monstrous infantry. While the organ guns are pretty darn good at dealing with the monstrous infantry, they've got a lot of other targets, and there are only 2 of them in this army as well. Anyway, chariots starting to move finally into range of the Troll Hammer Torps, which bring them down quickly, much quicker than the artillery, in fact. And it looks like we've got enemy Nehekara horsemen following up, but obviously over in the background our cannons continue to fire, bringing down, oh, there goes another bone giant, toppling all the way in the distance. But another tomb scorpion, another set of sepulchral stalkers, and more constructs will continue to replace them. Alright, there we go. And ooh, it does look like the enemy is starting to get around us over on the right flank. I see 2 sets of chariots and 2 sets of, I don't know, Necropolis Knights or Spokal Stalkers moving on in. There is a big ol' Cambrian War Sphinx and Lord trying to charge us, but oh, between the Trollhammer Torps and one big ol' axe blow from Stochel Gundrickson, the beastie falls. Lovely. Alright, does look like our Giant Slayers are starting to take a little bit in the way of hits. We've got 42 missile resistance on them, which is solid. Could use a little bit more. Definitely, I mean, I definitely did build a bunch of Smednir shrines, which after the Grigny and the Grimnir shrines give us 2% missile resistance per shrine. Probably could have built a few more, and we probably still have a few more that will be built at the end of every turn. They now take so long to build, unfortunately, that we'll probably... There's probably going to be a limit to how many you actually get constructed by the end of the campaign now. I think a single shrine now takes something like 50 turns to build, and that's just insanely long. Which I guess makes sense, as SFO wanted to balance it in such a way so that you couldn't build so many of them that all your buffs are just super maxed out and insane, and you have to choose between the buffs. Anyway, the enemies, fast movers, have at last arrived over in the center, over on the flanks, pretty much everywhere at once. Gonna try to our best to snipe down the Necropolis Knights and Necro Serpents, tall as they are, with those Trollhammer Torps. And just look at how quickly our Giant Slayers tear through those super fragile chariots. They charge in, lose 30% of their HP in a couple of seconds, and then we'll just keep on chasing them down. And then the same thing goes for the other chariots as well. The balance of power is actually in our favor, if only by a slight 55%. Enemy is still trying to get through our main line to get at our artillery and our troll hammers, and have engaged at least a couple of troll hammers. Especially with the sheer number of Ushabti here. This is technically not an Ushabti army, but they had like 3/4 of a stack full of nothing but Ushabti between those armies. Luckily for us, organ guns and troll hammers are pretty darn good at dealing with the constructs, and also I love watching Ushabti. They're one of the most entertaining units, possibly the best monstrous infantry unit in terms of animations and aesthetic. I just love them watching them use their kopeshes. Although alas for them, we won't get to see them too long. Even with their numbers being as high as they are, they get brought down by those Giant Slayers, Demon Slayers, etc. rather quickly. And it looks like the balance of power has shifted almost completely in our favor now. Just as the enemy had started to reach our artillery pieces, it looks like they did not have enough constructs at the end of the day. So we'll have to work our way through the remaining Tomb Guard, which takes a little bit of time since we have no infantry mincers in this particular army. But that's not what it was built for, and clearly it isn't necessary. Alright, protect those organ guns there, Giant Slayers. Alrighty, there we go. The last of the Tomb Guard fall. A couple more Trollhammer Torps and a couple more artillery blasts into the last remaining skeleton archers. We'll see these guys knocked out as well. And with that, the battle will be ours. Lovely. This guy took a pretty hard hit there. Alright, there we go. Pretty darn effective, and no crashes this time for Stochel, whose Dragon Slayer army, rather, continues to slay the Tomb Kings just as well. Very well done, sir. And all the units got to play. The Giant Slayers didn't get to slay as many of the bigger enemies as they might like because of the Torps and the various... Iron Drakes and stuff. And ooh, this is, I guess, another interesting sort of difference. We saw that in this army, compared to the other army, there weren't nearly as many Sepulchral Stalkers, Necropolis Knights, Knights of Asaph, whatever, all of those guys. And when there were a ton of them in the previous time that Stochel fought Khalida, he saw that the organ guns outdamaged all the other artillery types. Here, however, the cannons were able to fire at the bigger monsters for the entire time. Necrosphinxes, a bunch of bone giants, and that sort of thing. A bunch of tomb scorpions, etc., etc. And thus, they outdamaged the organ guns, who did not have their ideal targets in nearly as many numbers as they did in that other battle. Always nice to see the artillery's niches. And then the bolt throwers are kind of just chucking bolts all over the place. They do good work. Everybody does good work. Good work to the army. Good job. Good job.
We can hold this.
Alright, ally mobilized against settlement. Good for ally. Enemy killed in battle. Scarecrow banner. Ally begins construction. Creator, master, mason. Ready for duty. And oh, not a billion announcements. And that's shocking. Ooh, passageways open. I like that. I like that a lot. Why? Because King Azrael. Go to... I assume you can't march stance there? No. You're going to go to Karaz Ankor. And then we are going to have you move... Oh, right, we have to... Alright, we'll do that in a bit. Or in a second. Just give me a minute. Let's see what's going on out here, first of all. So, Stochel, you're going to head to the Golden Lotus Ruins. And I know that we could revive the... I mean, I guess we could try to revive them. I wonder if you have to sack the capital, or whether we could repeatedly sack the Hall of Rebirth, and that would do it for us. I guess we'll find out. If we're able to revive the Cult of Sigmar here at the Hall of Rebirth, we'll do it, but I'm not going to bother dealing with it at Lamia, so let's do that. Sack. Alright, and what are we at here? Minus 40. Oh my lord. You know what? It's going to take a million years for this place to be negative enough public order for us to revive a faction. Screw it. Never mind. It looks like old Volkmar will not be coming back to life. No resurrections this time. Alright, go. And we will do that. Alright, Stochel, I guess you're taking the Golden Lotus Ruins. Not much there anyway. Huh. Golden Lotus Ruins. It's not the actual capital of these guys, is it? I assume they actually do start out here, because I always see them out here. It just, Golden Lotus Ruins makes it sound a little bit more Cathan than Volkmari. But then it's quite far. I guess we'll find out shortly. Anyway, because it's them that we'd be giving the territory to. You head to the Idol of Asaph. Gotta work through these guys' territory. But we should be able to do so with reasonable quickness. Frankly, we could really use a couple more Reclaimer armies down here. Also, don't collect the income on these settlements. We don't need to deal with them. Next up, you, Reclaimer Baruch, are going to help reclaim down there, but first of all, we need to deal with Mahrak, take out this place, to get a little bit of damage on you, but you're just a Reclaimer, so that hardly matters, and hey, you're doing a good job with the old reclaiming. Yes, collect the income here, and then go for High King's Tribute. No corruption or anything to worry about. Dwinbar Ranulfson, you are not able to reach where we want you to go, so we'll set you up right at the edge of this, and we'll see what's going on out here. Alright, I see King Far, I see King Ruprafas. Who knows, maybe the two will attempt to attack you together. So set up an encamp stance and dare them to attack you. Alright. Well, looks good to me. Reclaimer. Oh, you can't reach the Valley of the Locust? You gotta be kidding me. Alright, fine, go here. Valley of Locust. You'll go there afterwards. Just a few more minor territories here to take. Auto resolve, no damage, or no damage of any significance. Vampire Slayer, don't collect the income. It's gonna be traded as soon as these guys are completely wiped out, and I guess as soon as the corruption is all gone, because we can't really, yeah. Belagar, not Belagard yet, but nearly there. I guess we can head you here. Hopefully you can reach Obelisk of Judgment. Oh, and we should also probably wipe out the Necrar Brotherhood just so that we don't have to deal with them. You guys will go this way to help out and also to continue decorruptifying the place. Follower and Thorgrim. You're mobilizing, but you haven't taken this place yet. All right, keep fighting those orcs. I would like you to go down here, because look at Arcan and all of his guys. You go down here, you sort of stick around, but don't take damage. I certainly wouldn't mind fighting Arcan's 4 armies, trying to get a last fight for Thorgrim here. I was thinking of doing it at the Pyramid of Nagash, but it looks like they got kind of damaged fighting Cetra, or possibly fighting these guys. Oh, hopefully they don't actually kill them off. That'd be unfortunate. Not for Cetra, because he probably wants his pyramid, but whatever. He has enough pyramids, damn it. What else do we have here? Alright, this is all to be traded once the corruption is gone, which it nearly is. Oh, it's kind of stalled now. You know what? Since it's stalled, we could probably just transfer. Oh, it's stalled because of the... because of this. I wonder whether this guy can decorruptify better than we can. Guess we're gonna find out, because, well, let's see. -4 and -2. Not really, to be honest. I'm not sure that he could decorruptify as good as we can. And that's with you in the Skithan's Oasis, eh? Let's build it up a little bit. I don't want Nurgle to come back immediately. Actually, Nurgle... He's dead, right? Not Nurgle himself, but, you know. Maggot Host and Taliman of Pestilence. Yes, they're dead. As in Kugat's guys, the Pox Ringers, the Pox Father, the Plague something, whatever the name of the faction is. Auto resolve. Occupy. Alright, and then there was one. At least in terms of the oil rigs. Gotta fortify them up, of course, because we need that petroleum, but we can't be having them getting attacked. And I guess you're probably gonna end your campaign here, or one of you maybe will end your campaign here. You're not able to go into the sea, right? Not yet. Alright, fine. Oh. You could maybe head out here. I thought that was cliffside, but it looks like we're okay. You will suffer attrition because this region's in storm, unless you do this. Alright, looking okay. Maybe we'll put Ulfar Norgrimling here. He is Norgrimling's Ironbreakers and such are pretty good for defending, although on the other hand, we need more stuff here. Alright, well, either way, that looks good to me for now. The rest of you look good. Karak Grundadrek, you don't need to move. Bait is fine. You... Oh, it's still gonna kill one of these guys. Alright, fine, just keep besieging. I don't care enough about this to bother with manually fighting it, because it's just bombarding the enemy with artillery until they're done, and it's barely a couple of stacks. You, Brock, are gonna head to Torquerindus, which is a key settlement. Key settlement for the completion of the Grudge. We're very much on the way to it now. Out of resolve, well done to the miners. And then you guys might set yourselves up as coast guards shortly, because I don't think there's anything else for you to reach once this entire territory is gone. Anyway, we'll hold on to this until we have the place shored up, essentially. You can head to Muros, or actually, no, I lied. Go into March Stance and head past Muros towards any enemy territories, not factions. As I don't know whether these guys can reach it. It looks like Burnoth Barak... Wait. Now, you can't quite reach the Emantera, but Warvor can reach it, so Warvor, you're gonna go there. Ferry, Hergar, and Vulcan as well. Oh, I wonder. 1 second. You're gonna go here, and you're gonna auto-resolve this. And you're gonna occupy it. Like so. And as soon as we're done here, these guys... oh, there we go. The faction is destroyed. I didn't even realize that was their last territory. But this also probably means we can give these little territories to... so it's Reyes and Ciernos to you. Reyes, enjoy. Go declare war on some jerks. Reyes, like so. And Ciernos. Beautiful. Alright, now we've got a little, nice little lizard enclave at the edge of the mountains, and yeah, it kind of... Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Oh, we weren't gonna kill him. I would feel bad. And I don't see why the dwarfs would do so, so yeah. Anyway, you can land now, I assume? Yeah, before you couldn't, but now you can, and it says Pyrrhic Victory, but let's face it, this is pathetic compared to what we've got. Do they have defenses here? Does this say... Yeah, it wouldn't let us do a cinematic battle, so we're good. No cinematic means no fight here. And we'll keep this island, because I like a nice place for the, or not nice place, for the Slayers to dwell. It amuses me. No, we'll need public order here. Oh, and we need to decorruptify the place, so at least start with Venerate the Ancestors. Alright, Isla de whatever it was, Sangre. You guys. Alright, so Story, you could catch this guy, assuming that... Wait, you can go to Sahugan. Oh, alright, let's see if the cannon gets killed doing this, like the last 50 times. And, oh, that's actually the last territory in this place, meaning we will never have to move these guys again. Well, we'll probably set them up on the coastline, but otherwise we'll be good. So you're gonna go here. Mr. Fairy Hergar. Well, you've actually been very useful over the course of the last few battles, and it's gonna kill the non-high level cannon. Goodbye, non-high level cannon. And there we go. That is the last territory belonging to whatever this faction is, and we will do this. We will empower the guilds, and then we'll have Story Azrael hunt down and destroy the last army of this faction as well. And we're done on this coast. As soon as... okay, jump the gun a little bit. There we go. Now we're done on this coast. Beautiful. You can head to Bilbali and sit there. Faction Schmidt's renegades are done for. We have Tor Corindus. Let's see what else we need. We'll still need to kill these guys. Hall of the Ancestors should be constructed next turn. And Karganath and Nagranath. I gotta remember that we have to keep Chenhild's monoliths up here because I'm tempted to give it away. Anyway, how are we doing up here, by the way? Alright, so this is all looking pretty okay now. Just gotta make sure that we wipe out the rest of these guys. You, Reclaim or whatever, can go to Monolith of Hargroth, and Oldest can go past it far as he can towards Iron Pelt Den. This is all going to Oshiotla. Like so, and like so. You can go right in our own territory and still heal up, and then move towards Iron Pelt. You can actually hit Iron Pelt, and... well, it would mean not hitting this territory. I guess we could wait the turn. I don't think Ungrim can reach this place anyway. Which means Ungrim might move to help out here. Ungrim, go to wherever you can sail away. So let's do... something like this. Maybe go out of Osberg and then try to move down here, or possibly even up here, because we still have to... wait, actually, do we don't actually have to knock out Bellicor, do we? Just have to... Alright, so that's something to consider. We could just ignore him. Neither of you are able to reach Bjornling's Gathering, but you can reach Fearguard. Like so.
Don't stop till you're dead. Everything was dwarven once.
Lovely. And like... okay, well, I guess you can go there and then wipe it out next turn, since you can't reach it now. And I guess we'll send Reclaimer's Stronghold to Iron Pelt Den, might as well. Oh, I guess that means we won't need to move Oldest. We might park him here. What we could also do is declare war on Addled Mines, and then have everybody, including the Wood Elves in Ashiotla, and declare war on them as well. Which will hopefully force them into an endless war against them, keeping our mountains flowing with riches and keeping the other races of the world busy and out of our way. Alrighty, and you can just go down here. Alright, looks like we're done here as well. We have Chenhild's monoliths. We just need to wipe these things out, and that'll be the one turn. Oh, let me guess. Yeah, you can't reach Vorgast here. Not that it matters, really. Yeah, and don't collect income, and do go into Venerate the Ancestors, because we'll need that additional anti-corruption. And then Reclaimer, Berdrick, I guess you can move down here. I might move a couple of you down to Albion, just to, you know, make it a little bit faster. We're not going to bother, you know, dealing with the Chaos Realm. It's a huge time investment, and no real challenge. Bugman. Is this worth fighting? Honestly, it's kind of meh. We'll just have Hegenbor Ironpick knock it out. Ooh. It would be potentially another opportunity to see him do his, Grail Knights and Grail Guardians. We'll see what the auto-resolve says. If it's low casualties and no damage, then we won't bother, but if it's not... yeah, see, they're not even willing to fight. Because they're cowards. Alright, fine. Then, rather than suffering attrition, you can go right here. And we'll have Bugman knock them out, I guess. He will suffer damage doing so, most likely, because the auto-resolve vastly underestimates his army. No, even okay, yeah, if even Bugman's army, who the auto-resolve hates, is going to take low casualties. Well, really? That's low casualties? That? Really? Okay. Game. Why do you hate Bugman? Why do you hate beer? Enemy killed in battle. And then you can take this. At least this one didn't damage him, and allow them to heal up like so. And we can, collect the income. This will go to the Manlings, most likely. If they like these swamplands, they can feel free to dwell in the swamps if they like. Oh, you know what we could maybe do? Send Hegenbor out to kill the Wood Elves here. I mean, it's not much, but we could get a lot of good charges out against the piles of... against the piles of these guys. Oh, I just actually had a thought. 63% missile resistance. I wonder... I wish I could see what the source of the missile resistance is, because we have a bunch of additional missile resistances on... due to the Shrines of Smednir, but I don't know how much of this is their base missile resistance and how much of it is from Smednir. What we need to essentially see is a hero or something that we know usually has 0 missile resistance, but I don't know what does, which is the issue here. Not much we can do about it, or not much I can think. Oh, what the heck is this? Oh, no, we have to send an army down there now. I didn't even realize. I'm probably gonna claim Great Ohm. Actually, I have an idea. Much as I hate to do this, Great Ohm, trade agreement, defensive alliance, military access, join war against. I think he'll join war against everybody because we have a plus 100 or whatever it is. He really wants his Great Ohm, I guess. Some filthy algae magics anyway. He can enjoy it.
Fate favors us.
Good luck. And oh, this actually forced him to declare war on these guys, didn't it? I think it did. Which means they might reclaim. But anyway, Pillar of Agagog is part of this province, right? Make them at least have the full province, yeah. Alright, here. Trade settlement, Pillar of Agagog. And, ooh, actually, wait a moment. No. Not Pillar of Agagog. I would like to declare war on these guys. Declare war. Don't call allies to help. I don't trust it. We'll manually ask the allies to join the war against this, but it's mostly Oshiotla and the Wood Elves, and that we want to do this because it's the only sort of close-by enemy. Then, we'll give you the Pillar of Agagog, and have you join war against Addled Mines as well, so that you can move down here. Up there, rather. Alright! Isn't that lovely? Now they have 2 complete provinces. We're not going to give them any money because they're Elgi, like the other factions, but they're Elgi on a little island far from our mountains, and they can be allowed to just sort of sit there. Again, we're dwarfs, we're not maniacs, we're not here to wipe everybody out. We're here to cross out the grudges, and they're not part of that particular grudge. Although, funnily enough, Nagaryth should very much be. But anyway, let's see. I mean, it's not the same technically faction, but nonetheless, again, we're not really making the distinction, or the dwarves would likely not be making that much of a distinction. Anyway, folks, with that, I believe we're out of time. I don't know if anybody else still needs to move. No, actually, Gromby, can you go past this? No, okay, fine. You're just gonna take... Oh, actually, maybe you can. Reclaimer Whitebeard, go to Tribe Slaughter. We might be able to move through it with Gromby. And then take Hastling's Camp immediately after. Take this, for obvious reasons, auto-resolve. That's what the Reclaimer is for. Okay, that made me nervous about the game crashing, but it's all good. This is all going to our allies as well, so don't bother collecting income. Just wait until the Chaos Corruption is gone, and yeah, that's what I wanted. You can immediately reach Hastling's Camp by taking the shortcut of not having to go around Tribe Slaughter. Beautiful. And we're actually closing in on Archaon's capital all the way at the edge of the map. I wasn't originally expecting or planning to do that, but here we are. Alright, venerate the ancestors, please. Build up some stuff. We do have another army out here, don't we? Yeah, go up here. Oh, it's already been dechaosified. Reclaimer Grimson, would you be able to take Goretown? I guess the 2 of you together should be able to, so you go to Goretown, and you can reinforce town.
Doom's this way.
Didn't quite get that right. It's all good. Like so. And anybody done? I guess it wouldn't have mattered even if anybody was, but I just decided to check. Alright. There we go. And we will build you some defenses, though once again considering... just gotta wait until the corruption is gone. You're gonna encamp, you're gonna head to the Rookery. I wonder if these guys have any armies running around. I think we've seen a full stack from the Garhar. So they may very well have one running around out there somewhere. Thorek, you're gonna take Red Abyss. And it looks like Tamarkhan is nearly out. Not part of our grudges, perhaps, but, well. Really don't want him reviving, especially since it's Tamarkhan, and he's kind of insanely overpowered. And our allies were not able to and would not be able to deal with him. How to resolve this? Take Plains of Zanbajin. There goes his capital. Not that it seems to matter to him, since he has the power of cheating on his side. Let's do whatever buildings we can, just to transfer this over to probably Boris. These guys are still -8 with... Whoa! Skulltaker! He is sort of breaching the... breaching containment. Go figure. You, go kill Farmort's Trigox. And then Grimly, you're gonna move on in. I can't have these guys breaching containment. We need to set up. Alright, you're out. You're gonna heal up. We won't be able to move far enough, and unfortunately I think we have no choice but to suffer attrition. Or will we? There we go. Mining camp stance. And then I guess Grimly, you're gonna go right beside Tokmar's camp in case Skulltaker decides to go there. Frankly, his army's pretty pathetic, while he does have some good stuff. Wow, he's rank 40 though. That, if nothing else, is quite impressive. Yeah, so... I don't know what's up with Jiao Ming or his faction, but he's constantly getting kind of wrecked by the public order. Provinces with low control -8. We saw the Empire having to deal with this, and we fixed it for them. Fixed the entire Empire, essentially, but can't seem to be able to fix these guys. Alright, you know what? One other thing I think that we want to do now.
I share the forest.
Declare war on the Wood Elves. Let's see who joins this. We have Wood Guards everywhere. Let's see if any of them refuse. Oh, wow, they'll all join Durthu. I thought that at least some of them would decide to not. But the main thing I want to do is this. You, auto resolve for obvious reasons. I know it's Ariel, but this is a sad army. The Wood Elf territories and armies are actually looking fairly weak. Certainly they have numbers on their sides, but the number of battles we actually fight against them will be pretty limited. A, because it's the end of the campaign, and B, because heroic victory with low casualties is not something that's worthy of our time and attention. And the main thing I wanted to do here, though, is this. Take Blood Keep, not that we really care about Blood Keep, and then Woodguard Helldower, take Karak-Azgoraz. They can't be holding key dwarven settlements, otherwise we would have just let them chill in their woods. And there we go, with the Northern Grey Mountains secured, retake the realms, part 3, that's all 3 parts of the realms now retaken, and the underway network, I believe, now fully restored on the entire map. Be it once more written that the Council of Kings bore witness to this grudge declared by Thorgrim Grudgebearer, successor to the throne at this time of begrudging, against those other races who dare occupy the fallen western holds of the Karaz Ankor. Centuries of greenskin and Skaven invasion, war and disaster and calamity has seen Dawi hegemony over the vaults dwindle. No longer shall our former bastions be isolated islands surrounded by a sea of foes. All must be reclaimed, Dawi supremacy restored in mighty acts of war and vengeance. There we go. And then there were 3 legendary grudges remaining. We will, of course, have to deal with at least some of the Wood Elves getting very upset about all this, but that's why we preempted this attack with setting up all these Wood Guards who should be able to essentially deal with the enemy's attacks, or at least that's the hope here. We'll have to see whether there are too many of the armies or whether they'll attempt to jump out at us at all. Anyway, with that, I'm gonna call the episode here. So actually you will want to help deal with the Wood Elves. Try to move down towards Daith. Anyway, as I said, I'm going to call the episode here. I might have actually moved everybody and might be able to end the turn and then do the next turn's admin at least. And between the episodes next time, we will wipe out the Drakenhof Conclave and continue moving to probably getting at least a few more fights against the Tomb Kings. I would imagine Dwinbar, Ranulfs, and Zackstorm will have to fight these guys at the very least. Otherwise, just a matter of time until we wipe the Court of Lybaras out, until we capture the last remaining of the Dark Elf territories, destroy Harganath, and take Nagranath, and all that will remain will be the Wood Elves, as the Karak-Zorn Scorn is very much on the way as well. Anyway, stay tuned. A couple more episodes, and I know I said a couple more episodes, like 4 episodes in a row now, but actually I think like 2 or 3 more episodes remaining in the campaign. All glory to the algorithm. Likes and comments below. Dawi supremacy. And thanks for watching.